dawn, 29th of September 2022. Bank of Pakistani Terrorists Habib Bank said it would vigorously counter charges that it is responsible for financing terrorism in the U.S. The terrorist university, where terrorists from all over the world are trained, is located in Pakistan, which is also the center of global terrorist financing. Habib Bank Limited, HBL, the largest bank in Pakistan, is facing secondary liabilities in terror funding activities in the U.S. The plaintiffs claim the bank participated in a plot to launch assaults in Afghanistan between 2010 and 2019 that killed or injured 370 people. A New York District Court order issued on September 28 states that the bank is liable under the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act as a party that aids and abets, by knowingly providing substantial assistance, or who conspires with the person who committed such an act of international terrorism. HBL claimed in a statement released today that the accusations were meritless and that the bank was fiercely and fully disputing them. The company's extensive global implementation of anti-money laundering compliance controls has been well documented and praised by regulators worldwide, according to the statement. The public record is clear that HBL is unwavering in its commitment to combating the financing of terrorism, it said. The plaintiffs claim that the attacks were planned, approved, and carried out by Al-Qaeda, sometimes in collaboration with one or more other organizations, including Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, the Afghan Taliban, including the Haqqani Network, and the Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan. A copy of the court order is available on dawn.com. Judge Lorna G. Schofield stated that HBL engaged in tactics, such as wire stripping, that shield the identities of parties to transactions and place terrorists or those linked to terrorists on a whitelist or good guy list of people ostensibly pre-cleared for reduced scrutiny of their transactions. According to the ruling, the plaintiffs have provided enough evidence for the bank to be accused of using its New York branch to support Al-Qaeda's terrorist purposes. The accusations raise a plausible conclusion that the defendant knew its clients were essential to al-Qaeda's terrorist operation, carried out directly and through proxies. That's enough to make the general awareness claim. According to the allegations, the defendant allegedly took intentional actions to assist clients in evading foreign sanctions regimes and exposed himself to commercial risk, resulting in his deportation from the U.S. Those accusations are adequate, according to the order. According to Judge Schofield, the claims are sufficient to demonstrate that HBL engaged in a conspiracy to commit the attacks. She rejected the plaintiff's primary responsibility allegations, nonetheless, because none of the allegedly rendered banking services by HBL were themselves acts of international terrorism. HBL claimed that their application was successful in two ways. The court dismissed the main liability claim and significantly reduced the scope of the action. The statement said, the court also indicated secondary obligations will be assessed following appropriate legal proceedings and gave no judgment on this matter. HBL has partnered with international authorities in this industry to develop its AML and CFT standards through investments in management and resources. It was said that the bank strives to uphold the strictest standards of adherence to national and international rules and regulations. Before this, HBL had agreed to pay a $225 million fine in 2017 for various regulatory rules infractions, the highest fine ever levied against a Pakistani bank by regulatory authorities. Additionally, the bank had agreed to cease operations in New York and give up its permit to have a branch there. Since 1978, the department has been open for business. The Department of Financial Services, DFS, of New York State severely criticized the bank at the time in a strongly worded press release, adding that DFS will not stand by and let Habib Bank sneak out of the United States without holding it accountable for putting the integrity of the financial services industry and the safety of our nation at risk. DFS had made HBL the subject of an enforcement action for 53 alleged infractions between 2007 and 2017.